Well, great. Thanks for joining today. And we weren't here last week because we were down in San Diego visiting our daughter and our granddaughter, and of course the son-in-law. They were down there for a wedding, and they needed somebody to watch our granddaughter, which was just fine with us. And on the way, we had a lovely time. We were driving down, and the GPS was telling us what route to take. And I said, "Hey, we're going to go right through Temecula." And I know somebody that lives in Temecula, so we called Brock and said, "Hey, on an hour and a half's notice, are you free for lunch?" And we met and went to a absolutely wonderful Irish pub. Really, really enjoyed it. That was a great spot, Brock.
Yeah. Yeah, we like it. It's close by and they've got, some of the best fish and chips I've ever had. And so it's like when I feel like fish and chips, I don't even make them myself anymore. I just go there.
Yeah, and great service too. It was really
Oh
a
yeah. Yeah,
fun
the
spot.
server was great. He was a lot of fun.
So we'll be away the next 2 weeks. On Wednesday, we fly to New York and go to a Boy Scout reunion. So this time next Saturday, we'll all be sitting around the lake and telling ourselves how none of us have gotten older since the last time we were together. And then the following Saturday, we'll be on an airplane cursing everything about the American air travel system. So we'll be thinking of you, Randy. So, but on the week after that, it's coming up 3 weeks from now, I just finished last night a really neat 15-minute amateur film from the 34 season of the Chicago World's Fair. And guy got some really fascinating footage. Some of the things you see all the time, the sky ride and that, but also lots of he did a lot of the show that they had up by the lake, the transportation show. And Cody, you were mentioning about horses bucking. There's a scene in this where a guy gets bucked by a mule. And I was thinking, boy, that being your job, doing that 6 times a day all year long, getting bucked by a mule. So that would be 3 weeks from today. So for today, we have a variety of movies from a variety of places and times, and both a combination of 8 millimeter and Super 8 millimeter. And as in other weeks, they're gone through the preliminary part of restoration. They've been hand cleaned and splices removed, scanned with the initial color correction, but I've not yet edited out all the weird spots. In one, the very beginning of it, the guy just kept filming his feet. I think he kept forgetting the camera was on. So, but we'll see some of that, and I got to take out some of the dirt and odds and ends like that. But let me get started here. I am going to go here, and there's no sound on any of these. But we're going to start with Disneyland, and this is in 1967, and they are again, some of these are really overexposed or underexposed, and I can do some amount of work to fix them. But we're going to be seeing some fun shots of the Christmas parade. This is December 1967. So our happy visitors arrive at the park. Not much in the way of lines today. Should be a good day. It looks a little out of sequence. It's kind of funny, but it's the way it was shot. They're coming from the Disneyland Hotel, and poof, they're over to ride the Autopia. See the submarines going by, or up on the Skyway.
Bill, when you finish the restoration, will the sprocket holes be gone and the
Yeah, that's a
black bands?
to ask about that. Yeah, on this one I did an overscan of it, so I got the whole thing. And generally, I crop in and remove the sprocket holes, and obviously the the preceding and following frames that show up at the top and bottom. Excuse me. But there's a film coming up from Catskill Game Farm where I'll show you just how much information would be lost by cropping. Most cameras, again, we can see it's Christmas with the star. Most cameras would just get this stuff that was in the viewfinder, and you would have your shot and everything to go. Some took footage off to the left in the area between the sprocket holes, like you see here. Some people like to leave that there so you get 100% of it. Generally I crop it out, but when we get to the Catskill Game Farm, you'll see how much you would lose to crop it all out. So what I'll do there is add a black mask over the sprocket holes to make them less annoying. So this was the big Christmas parade they did every year for a couple of years down there. Whoops, looked like he was almost going over there. They almost look like predecessors of the what you call America's Sing Dolls, don't they? You had the Butterfly Girls, and at the very end, you get the Glockenspiel Girls.
Bill, do you know if they keep a record of everybody that ever played the Mickey Mouse character within the park?
Yeah, when I worked there, they did. There were very few at that point in time. Now I think there's so many. You know, particularly Disney World. You know, it seems like they got 12 Mickeys working at a time. But I think they're pretty. I think they probably still maintain all that.
Yeah, because I know you had to specially qualify to be a Mickey.
Yeah.
You know, there was certain things you had to know and do, and
Yeah, first of all, you had to have the right height and everything. And the
Yeah.
tough one that they had to fill often was Donald Duck. That was even a harder one to find the right height profile for. But there was a guy, and I'm drawing a blank in his name. I think it was Paul. Was the primary Mickey for Disneyland, and he was quite a character. He took that head off. He took out the cigar, you know, that sort of thing. But he was also very protective of the Mickey character, and you know, if anybody was doing it and wasn't doing it right, you know, he got very vocal about it. Which, you know, might just be a way of getting more overtime for him. But
Well, was he the one that posed with Walt Disney?
he
At
was
the
probably
end?
the one, yeah,
He was?
yeah.
Wow. Did he ever talk about that?
No, it was just a job.
Oh. Boy, it'd have been more than that for me.
Yeah, I always feel sorry for the Mickeys that are marching in the parade in Disney World.
Oh
You know,
yeah,
you're down there in Florida and it's like middle of summer and they're dying.
oh,
Yeah.
it's terrible. So we're gonna go to Lake George, New York, and we're gonna go and we're gonna start at just some scene of getting the camera ready. We're at Frontier Town, which was about 20-30 minutes north of Lake George, and this I get a kick out of this. It's like Barney Fife. This is my bullet. But imagine all the kids getting picked, and you get picked to shoot the rifle, and then in comes the riders from out of town. Frontierland was really a great spot. I mean, we went out there a number of times as a kid, and then it fell into disrepair, and the state has put a lot of money into oh my God, he shot him in the back. The state's put a lot of money into reopening parts of it as a campground. They don't have the Western town going, but a lot of the buildings are still there in ruins and that. This is a mean guy.
3 down.
Wow.
Wait till you see what happens to the mean guys, though.
Is this the guy that came in on
Up.
the horse?
No, there's the guy that came in on the horse, and he's taking out the bad guy, shooting him down. There's going to be a scene coming up here of stuff that you would never, ever, ever do in a theme park today. So he may be shot, but he's not down. But he's got to pay for his crimes.
They hang
Oh my
him.
God.
Hang him in front of everybody. Can you believe they did this?
I've got a picture of Knott's Berry Farm Ghost Town, and they did a hanging, and they had a picture of him. What? It was really grim. They
Yeah.
did hangings there.
Do you think the guys would learn that, hey, they hang people in this town? I better not rob this train. Then they did a animal show there, and there's a funny gag coming up that they do here.
Gee,
Yeah, I was at a Western show where they actually hanged a horse.
Oh no, goodness!
that would be hard.
Trains horses and dogs.
Hey, Carol, we gotta see if we get our dogs to do this.
Is that one on skates? Oh, here you go, rodeo.
Yeah,
Ouch.
yeah, exactly. Head over heels.
Yeah.
Well, they train for that.
Well, yeah, they practice. Yeah.
No, this I got a kick out of this. The clown's out there doing this big magic act, and she's rising into the air. Pretty impressive, huh?
Must be somebody underneath her.
He stands on the cape.
I like that.
Riding a bull.
Yeah.
Those are the-
Now this is another one. Do this today. Set all these kids loose on a field and tell them go grab the cow.
Oh God.
That poor animal.
Poor kid.
Could you imagine all the lawsuits that could come out of that?
Oh God.
We actually do that at our fair, but we have the parents sign a waiver.
Yeah.
Well,
Native American.
yeah. Feels sorry for
Where
the.
was this in New York?
Yeah, Frontier Town. It's upstate in the Adirondack Mountains, about a 40-minute drive maybe from Lake George, New York.
And they're out of business.
They're out of business now. Yep. So we're going to continue more with Lake George area. Again, I think this is 1960. Start at Fort William Henry, which is a fort right in the middle of the village of Lake George. And there's the lake and the docks down below. Right down below here is an area called the $1 Million Beach, and that's where the steamboats go for rides out onto Lake George. So Fort William Henry was at the very far southern end of the lake, and then up at the very north end where it goes into Lake Champlain, you have Fort Ticonderoga. Again, if you're in the area at all, and this is where Carol and I are going to be up, I think, next Wednesday in this area. Lake George is just a beautiful, beautiful area. It's rated one of the cleanest bodies of water in the United States, and it's always in a constant battle with Lake Tahoe, but they generally win. And they're always fighting battles against invasive species, mussels and things like that. So they take their lake pretty seriously, knowing it's it's the lifeblood of the area. Plus obviously the water supply.
Is this place still there?
Yes, Fort William Henry is still there.
And that's what it looked like in whenever they built it.
Colonial times. Yeah, we're hopping over now to Storytown, which is still there, greatly expanded as a Six Flags theme park right now. But yeah, Fort William Henry it's privately owned and operated just as Fort Ticonderoga is, but it's a wooden stockade fort as opposed to Ticonderoga, which is a masonry fort. And you can go out to the the Fort William Henry also has a very large hotel, conference center, stuff like that there. And Carol, here's part where the guy shooting pictures of his feet. So, yeah, this will all go away, but we'll see some more non-feet stuff in a moment. So here's the train going around Storytown. Storytown got a lot of the stuff from the '64 World's Fair when it ended, and also from Freedomland. So they bought a ride called Danny the Dragon from Freedom Land. They bought all sorts of parts of the 64 fair and put them in. And some of the stuff is, you know, still buried out there in the woods today.
Oh, this doesn't exist.
Oh, no, it's still there. But you know, you can imagine the stuff that's 60 years old doesn't get as much attention as the
Yeah.
modern roller coasters that turn you upside down.
Oh no, I hate those.
So we get to see Jack and the Beanstalk. I remember going there, I think the first time I was about 6 or 7 years old, and the place was just fascinating. And, you know, Carol and I went there a number of years ago and brought our daughter, and it was kind of fun to share some of the same corny stuff with her, you know, 40 years later that, you know, I had enjoyed so much as a kid. This was a fun one. Jack and Jill go up the hill, and they slowly make their way up there, and they come tumbling down.
Oh my God.
And like I said, we went 40 years later, and Jack and Jill were still tumbling down the
Oh
hill.
my God.
Yeah,
Cow jumped over the moon.
yeah. Rub-a-dub-dub, 3 men in a tub.
Oh.
Does he fall off and all the yolk comes out?
No, no, I could lie to him, but then the yoke would be on you.
Oh,
Kid's
Uh,
not sure.
Somebody had to say it.
There he goes.
Now we can go off to Catskill Game Farm in 1960. And this one I mentioned, again, the sprockets. You can see how wide the gate was on this. And if you cut this off where the sprockets there are, how much of the image would be lost. This is the biggest example I've seen of a film with an expanded gate. And if you were playing this on your projector at home, watching it, you know, with your family, you wouldn't be seeing any of that stuff off to the left. So what I will probably do is do this in both versions, a cropped version and then the full screen version.
I'm assuming that when the photographer was taking these movies, the viewfinder was cropped.
Yes,
So you didn't see all that stuff to the left.
that's correct. Yeah, you would just be seeing what was you know, over to the right side there.
Yeah.
So I guess,
That used to be a big thing in 35mm cameras. Nikon was always big on, you saw everything that you were going to see in the finished slide or, you know, negative.
yeah.
Others had a lot of crop involved.
Yeah, I mean, my Canon AE1 is pretty much the same way. You know, what you see is what you get, because, you know, and that was appreciated. You didn't want to have other, you know, extemporaneous or extraneous stuff, you know, throwing up. I love the Stagecoach. You realize it's motorized.
It's got wheels, car
Yeah.
wheels.
And it's got a car motor. I mean, the horses are just, you know, mannequins out front.
Well, that's like those motorized cable cars in San Francisco. A lot of times, you know, for ads, they use them. Of course, they crop out the wheels.
Yeah.
What's up, Bailey?
All right. You got to, she's getting tired of waving. I don't blame her.
Somebody's saying, hey, they're movies, move.
Yeah. And now he changes his f-stop, but not in the right direction.
Yeah.
oh, I thought it just was a night shot.
No, day for night.
Yeah, 'cause that man on the left is totally cropped out of the.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what you could do. Think about all the animal tricks you could do. You could have the what you call it, you know, a trainer outside. Now this bucket here, the pot. I've got pictures of my father with two of my brothers, and they're in the pot like he's cooking them up.
Hey, Bill, when you capture these, are you able to adjust the gate yourself on the way that the software captures the frame. So for instance, right now, it looks like that the two sprockets, are centered within the frame, horizontal or vertically on the left side, but can you adjust it, to move it up or move it down so that, let's say, for instance, the top of the actual frame hits the top of the screen image? Not that it.
It's funny you should ask. I'll give you an example of doing that in just a moment. So when this film is over, I'll show you what you can do.
Okay.
Perfect timing. Yeah, that's great.
That was all planned.
Yeah, yeah, he was right on cue. I was looking here at my script for the day, and he came in right on time.
Yeah, he'll put the check in the mail on Monday.
And I'll,
There you
and I'll
go.
respect him in the morning.
Yeah.
The Catskill Game Farm is a great spot. It's in, the Catskill Mountains run very wide east and west across part of New York. And this is on the northern Catskills up near the Albany area. So let me, it's not open anymore. You can stay there in the former Giraffe House. So here, let me take a quick shot here of the 64 World's Fair with an uncropped version. So in this particular one, this was really, again, overexposed. So I'm gonna have to really work on the color and everything. But you're gonna get an idea here. It's kind of interesting that there's a small spot off to the right, for whatever reason, the camera gate had that hole in it. And then you have this stuff off to the left. But then what I can do is I can zoom in with the lens on the scanner. And we get the crop version of it. So here again, I've taken out the sprocket holes. I've zoomed in so you don't get the preceding and following frame on there. I will restore both of these, and then I'll run them through the digital dirt removal, and hopefully that will help. When they're so overexposed, the dirt really shows up noticeably on them. But that answers
we're getting a little bit of a gray bar at the bottom.
Oh yeah, it's let me shrink this down a little. Whoops, what did I do there? Hang on a second. I just lost my own picture here. What am I doing? Please move this window away from the shared application. So hang on. I'm gonna stop the share.
Okay, coming.
I don't know where the went there. Oh, there.
Bill?
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say that in Barron's question, I think what he was asking, was there a way you could move those sprocket holes upward? Which no, because there's no film underneath them, so that's lost image, right? There's no way to adjust. All you can do is crop them from one to the side.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Yeah. I think Barron was asking, is there a way to push that sprocket upwards? But there's nothing. There would be nothing there because there was no capture on film.
Yeah, that's just a
whole
physical hole in the film.
Yeah.
All right, let me.
No, that wasn't it. What I was getting at is that the way that the film is being run through the scanner, okay, the scanner somehow has a aperture adjusted based on the sprockets of the film, where it's running the film and capturing the image. And so in this case, it's capturing the width of the film plus the sprocket on the top and the bottom. What I was getting at is within the scanner itself, the physical hardware of the scanner or the software itself, and if it overscans, if the gate is larger than the width of the film and taller, than the frame itself, or two frames, can that be adjusted? So for instance, to where if you want to capture it, the top of the frame sits at the top of the scan, which gives you more of a top of the frame at the bottom. Can that just be shifted up and down? Not that I can give any reason to do that at the moment, but just be able to have that adjustment to move it up and down.
Yeah, I can move it up and down. So it has a total XYZ axis on the camera, so I can move it up, I can move it down, and I can then change the focus going on it. Now,
Okay.
What I can also do is, as I showed there, I can increase the lens so I can zoom in on it and take out, you know, everything as well. The difference between 8mm and Super 8 is not that large. The sort of lens that you have, but when you do just grab it 1 second here. Hopefully this shows here. This is the lens when it's set here for 8mm. So I put that on the scanner, you know, and scans this way up and down. If I need to do let's see, I guess right now it's set for 8. If I want to do Super 8, which is a little wider, I can take one of these rings off and zoom it in. I have another lens which is only from about here down, which is for 16mm, because that it's further away and it's so much a larger image. So this zooms in more on the tiny little 8mm film, where you don't need to zoom in as much on the
Okay.
16. And then for 35, you don't have to zoom anything. It's so big.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, hope that helped. Let me go back to this here.
Thanks, Brock.
You're welcome.
So hopefully now you don't see any gray bars.
And no gray bar.
So don't know where we lost this. So I just started back at the beginning. So aloha, Hawaii. Barefoot in Paradise. Come see the show.
Now, where is this?
This is a 64 fair. So we just
It is a 64 fair, yeah. Okay.
right.
So
That palm tree outside of Hawaii didn't look very happy.
Yeah, probably went through a New York winter.
Yeah.
So there's the aerial tower ride. Hey, Chungking, we can go get a whole meal for 99 cents.
Okay, what kind of cars?
Well, that's
Chrysler.
that's a big
The
car.
Chrysler products, yeah, but was that a Valiant?
I think so, yeah. It looked like it.
This is the 64 season, by the way. I'd like to know if they might have ID tags or something hanging around their necks. There's Joey's Playhouse, the United States Pavilion.
The best haunted house a kid could have.
Yeah. I was always too law-abiding to go in when I was there post-fair. Either that or chicken. Actually, I never thought to ever go back to the fairgrounds with a flashlight.
You needed more than a flashlight when you went in that building.
Hey, I know that one. That's a Volkswagen.
Yeah. The others are a little hard to make out.
Yeah, this film was really, really dark.
There goes that Volkswagen again.
Must be early in the year because the brass rail is nice and clean. Busy day on the Skyway.
There's the rocket thrower.
Yep. One of the ways you can date is the 64, the escorter. And
Hey, Bill, I'm sorry, in your naming convention, how come you say BY, rather than putting an X?
Sorry, I missed that.
I said, in your naming convention, how come you put BY rather than X?
Oh, because the guy that did the software program, that part comes out in there.
Oh, well, that's dopey. Okay.
Yeah, everything that's a naming convention, everything that's from up to the word cropped is what I put in, and after that, it's what it does. It basically it's telling you what resolution he did it at and what speed, the frame rate, that sort of stuff. But it just comes canned for part of the application. Now we're going to go to Super 8 World, and I'm going to start here with a souvenir movie. As we've seen before, a lot of these souvenir films turn bright red. So doing my best to try to get some of this back, but we're going to go visit Big Thunder at Disneyland. We're showing it in homes. Hopefully nobody's at work, so I don't get in trouble for breaking the rules here. But there's Big Thunder. It's one of the last attractions I worked on, so I had great memories of this thing.
Yeah, you know what I remember was fun to watch is, the whole thing was built with new lumber. And then one day you come in and it's all like it's been there for years.
Yeah.
With the chemicals they put on it.
Yeah. They just did an amazing job of aging stuff.
Well, it was a very quick process too, because like I say, it literally happened overnight. I was there one day, came back the next day for I think it's when we were doing the canoe races, but I may be mistaken there. And it was like, wow, the whole place, or just about the whole place at that point, had aged in 24 hours, like it had been there for years.
Yeah. This shot right here, by the way, talk to the cameraman who did it. And he said, yeah, he's basically riding backwards, and he got off the thing and he was really hurting because all the G forces and everything are planned with the thought of somebody being able to see it, anticipate it, and lean or whatever into it. He's going the opposite way, and I love the animals going around there in their tails, but he wasn't able to anticipate it. Plus, it was torquing him in the opposite way that we had planned to do it. So he was really hurting. So the things people do for their art.
I miss the mules.
Yeah, yeah. I never got to see that in person. I just have the movies of it. I walked.
I rode it. I think I was one of the last people to ride that.
When did they go away?
1979? I don't know.
No, they were gone by the time I got there in '76. They were gone. I think
okay.
I think they left about 72 or so.
Yeah, I rode on it the last day or something.
Like I said, the trails are still there and they were kind of neat to walk over, but that's what all this is on top of now.
And Thunder Mountain is still there, correct?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Has it changed much? I mean, have they updated any of this?
No, that's pretty much 100% the way it was built. Real quick aside on how things work great in the lab and they don't work in reality. They were trying a new sensor system on the ride to figure out where the trains were and make sure they don't collide and everything. And they went to use magnet. Actually, they were trying to use an optical system where you had a vane that a thing could go by and pick it up, and it worked great until it rained, and then grease ran down the track and started going off the sensors. And I get the call that the computer system is having an issue. It sees 100 trains on the track. So we went down and tried to figure out what to do with that. And then I said, well, we could go with magnetic sensors, but then they were coming down and slicing off the sensors if the train racked or rolled or whatever. So we had a little bit of downtime that first year getting the bugs out of the system. So we're going to go to Disneyland now in 1968. So starting at their hotel, and now we get to see the parking lot. And then we're visiting California Adventure way before everybody else did. Off to the Disneyland Hotel. Looks like it's going to be a pretty quiet day, doesn't it?
Yeah, I was going to ask, I wonder what time of day this is. The parking lot's empty.
Yeah. There's the Anaheim Convention
Is
Center.
that a day it might have, oh, no, I guess they're going in maybe. Were they still closed on Mondays at that time?
Closed Mondays and Tuesdays, yeah.
I couldn't find my car in that parking lot. God, it was awful.
The end of the day, they would take people around over and over and over and over till they found it.
Yeah, now you just have to look in a parking garage.
Well, they were always trying to tell you when you got on the tram, remember, you are in Pinocchio 3. Write that down as P is in Pinocchio. Here's the climber coming down the Matterhorn background there.
Yeah, it's amazing how many people don't pay attention to where they parked even today in the garage. It's like I know I was not on the top floor because there was something over me, but I don't know where I was.
That's that whole Seinfeld episode about it, which is great.
Well, it only took me my entire life to think about taking a picture of the aisle sign when I go to the airport.
Yep.
Yeah, well, they never did come for me. I went up to the front and cried on some guy that was out of a window, and my husband had to come and take me around to find the car.
Well, these days you can get an app that will help you find your car. So
That's true.
one of the great things is you walk down the aisle and you just keep hitting the button on the remote, looking for the lights to flash or the thing to make a chirping sound, right?
I'm not sure my car. I didn't do that. I'm not sure. Well, it might have had it. I don't know.
Yeah, so we end up with some dead footage here in the middle of it. Then it's going to go back to doing something. I think this was his attempt to shoot the Small World ride.
A lot of cosmic rays in that view.
Yeah. There's the motorboat cruise. I love that ride. Think that outfit, you could spot her in a crowd?
Wow. It's interesting. The effect in the sky there is almost like it's a fountain.
Yeah.
I presume you cropped this one when you scanned it, but short of that's a pretty clear picture. I don't know if that was a lot of post processing or if that's just the way the film was and it turned out well.
Turned out really well. Super 8 did an amazingly improved job over 8mm. Just this very slight difference in the size of the film really made a huge difference. Plus, they have the much finer and more frequent perforation holes, the sprocket holes, so you really got a lot better registration. This has been through stabilization, but you can really see the difference between the Shaken and 8 and a Super 8 film. There's a Tiki Bird with the signage that's sponsored by United Airlines.
I imagine by this time everybody was using a camera with an electric eye because the exposure looks fine.
Yeah, you wonder with some of these if it was an electric eye, automatic camera, or if they were just shot. Again, the scanner helps. Well, the scanner plus the software helps an awful lot. And some of these things where certain parts of it get overexposed, it can fix it or go back and forth. What I'll do in some cases is make multiple passes, like the film that I'm doing from the Chicago World's Fair. The very beginning he shot and it was just great. And at the very end he shot, it was totally underexposed. So I was able to go and scan it twice, once with the okay light and once with super, super light. And then I'll put them both back together and it comes out looking pretty good.
I think by the mid 60s, most home movie cameras had electric eyes.
Yeah.
Not so much, not so true for 35mm still cameras. A lot of them did, but some didn't.
Yeah, and plus by this point in time, they were putting better lenses in them, glass lenses instead of plastic that some of the El Cheapo cameras had.
Well, part of the problem with the electric eyes and movie cameras back then, and some still cameras, they weren't through the lens. They
No,
were, separate above the lens, next to the lens. So they weren't exposing for the actual exact frame you were shooting.
no. Yeah, it's just kind of estimating.
Right. This came out great. Look at that. Yeah.
It feels like you are there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like we were in San Diego last week. We took the Skyway there.
Is that at SeaWorld?
San Diego Zoo.
Oh, okay. I didn't know they had a skyway there now.
Yeah, we're up on the thing 150 feet or whatever in the air, and the phone rings, and somebody, oh, there's a burglary going on. Can we get a crew over there? And I go, I can try.
Let me get my Batmobile.
See if the Skyway could be rerouted.
What's that?
See if the Skyway could be rerouted back to my house.
Yeah.
God, when
you
I see pictures of Tomorrowland, then it's so sad compared to what's there now.
I know. Now we're gonna go and hop over to Expo 67. This is right as Super 8 came out. There's our erstwhile photographer and his family. And there he is. I'm getting himself. And you notice he also had a still camera hanging around his neck. So he was really all set. So it's a wind sculpture outside of Switzerland.
Do you make a record also, Bill, of the film stock used on the film that you scan?
No,
If
not,
you're able to decipher it.
no, I really don't keep track of it. In some cases, you can tell definitely seeing off to the side here, Kodak or Kodachrome or Ektachrome or whatever. But I don't pay any particular attention to it. Oh, this one I love. By the way, this is 1968. It's not Expo 67. It's Man in His World. So you'll see a few changes or differences. But just look at all the stuff at that souvenir stand. If we could go there for 5 minutes for $20, think about how much fun that would be. And it's tax-free. Habitat with one of the Maersk Line ships. Only knew that because my dad worked for him for one point.
So is this still 68?
This is all 1968.
I thought that that section was closed for 68. I guess I was wrong.
No, this was still there. Like Kaleidoscope, I think open. You can see right there at the
Yeah, that's always a big telltale sign. Then
right.
the absence of the Soviet Union and Czechoslovakia. And
Yeah, all the Soviet pavilions are gone, and then the United States pavilion has become biosphere, which we're going to get a really nice shot inside. I thought this guy did a nice job. He's got long camera shots, nice smooth pans. He's not doing the I'll capture everything out there within 50 feet of film.
I think that the previous shot showed where Yugoslavia was.
Right. I think they're up at the top of France now. I forget which one this was, but a plaque about lumbering.
I would guess Western provinces.
Yeah, not quite sure. Oh, the asbestos found on the left. They're still touting asbestos as a magical mineral that makes life better. Okay, I think that's the end. So now we have his next reel here. Actually, this should be the first reel. I've got to reverse the order of them. I just happened to scan this 1 second, but he did his own titles here. And off we go. We're driving over there. What kind of car is that?
Corvair.
Corvair, yeah.
And we get to the United States Pavilion, which is now Biosphere. And the escalators are still there and still working. And all the up there, all the paper airplanes or hang gliders, or whatever, replacing the hollow stuff that was up there. Loading the camera here. Turning the dial until the number shows up to tell you it's done, which is just such a great gag in the Goofy film where he's rolling it and it says, like, you know, almost there, keep going, you're getting closer, getting closer, getting closer. Somebody's got some sore feet, it looks like, resting them. Yeah, I always enjoy when I come across a Super 8 film. The quality just comes out so much better than an 8. More sore feet. This was outside the United States during the Expo 67 days. Those were all United States flags, but then for Mana's World, they had international flags. This is over at the Place des Nations. So the first big use of pictograms was at Expo 67. And then we mentioned how they had to change them because at first they were too stylized and nobody could figure out which one was which. So they made it much more apparent. One was wearing a suit and one was wearing a dress. The aptly named Swan Lake. I'm getting hungry. Wonder what they're eating. Weird to look at it and think that all these people, like the little boy with the fork there, all on Social Security today. So what are they getting? They're putting some sauce on top of it. Oh, it's Belgian waffles and donuts. Okay, I think we have 2 more coming, or maybe 1 more coming up. Let's see. Oh, we got 2 more. So we're going to do Pirates here. This is a souvenir film from Pirates at Disneyland, or Disney World rather. Again, I've had to do this several times. Outdoors, it's going to be really overexposed on the here, so that when we go indoors, it's not totally underexposed. And I'll cut them out and splice them together. These films, again, this runs, I think, just under 3 minutes. It's about 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes long. It was about $20. I mean, that's not cheap for that amount of film for that period of time. But that was the only way you could take home. You know, there was no other way to share this with the folks back home, but go and buy it. They sold them both in sound and in silent versions. And what's funny about this one was this was in a box labeled, silent Super 8. And when I took it out, I realized it actually has the striping on it for sound. So I'm going to have to play it back and get the sound and put them together in a future one. So somebody got an unexpected bonus. They got the sound version for the price of silent.
What year was this? Do you know?
Oh God, this would have been right as the park opened. So somewhere in the 71, 75 era.
Okay, yeah, I was excited trying to think. Yeah, by then they had Super 8 home projectors with sound. Yeah.
Right. Like I said, this was bright red. I was able to get it down to this level, and I'll fix it more on the computer with software. But this was just done, with the scanner and then the first pass through the stabilizing program. See, we get to enjoy it today. We have to put up with Florida humidity or standing on the line.
But I could smell that water smell that you.
Yeah. There's the hair on his leg that my dad liked so much. Yeah, have you got one of those candles, Randy, that they say burns with the smell of it?
Do they work? Is it true it smells like Disneyland?
Beats me. It's a great marketing thing.
Well, even better was Expo 67 canned air.
Oh yes, that is great. For people that haven't seen it, it's an empty can that they sold, and people going and buying cans of Expo Air.
Hey,
So now this is an amateur film, and I'd have to look up the year on when this was. This was 73. It was June of 73. So I don't know what that big tent was that was off to the side there. And the Wade Safari. Think how much water has pumped through that elephant in the last whatever number of years. Don't get dizzy. We'll be at the end soon.
Is the Skyway still in Disney World?
Oh no, it came out years and years ago.
Because at Disneyland, the reason was the supporting pylons were cracked or whatever.
Well, that's the one story. The real thing is it was a very expensive ride to operate in the terms of the number of people you had to have on both ends of it, and also just the annual maintenance. So they decided it wasn't worth keep going. I mean, that's the same reason they took out the submarines, everything that was very labor intensive. You got the Paul Kressler years, everything was calculated on a spreadsheet, and it didn't matter if it was, Walt's favorite. It's like right now taking out Tom Sawyer's Island, and putting in Cars Land. Oh, not enough people go there. Well, to me, you're destroying a real character of the park, and real area that was important to Walt, but the pencil pushers decide you have to do something else today. Space
Yeah,
Mountain up in the background there.
they're putting Carland in the middle of Frontierland.
I know.
They've lost their minds.
I
That
thought
wouldn't
Carland
happen in
was
our
in,
day.
I thought Carland was in, whatchamacallit, California Adventure, isn't it?
Well, the one in California, yes, but in Florida, they're taking out
Oh,
Rivers of America's gone, and they're
Gotcha.
putting in Cars Land there.
that is kind of a weird, yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Same red Volkswagen
Volkswagen.
in New York. That was in New York.
Yep. So that's what I had for you for today. Oh, by the way, before I forget, just in case people would like to think some kind thoughts in his direction, Irv dropped me a note yesterday that he could not be here today. His wife she had been ill, and it turned out that they decided she had a small stroke, but it threw off her balance, and that led to her falling, which led to her breaking her shoulder. So she's in a rehab facility, and she can't get out because she is dizzy, and being dizzy, she can't use a walker. And with a broken shoulder, she can't use a wheelchair or a walker. So he's taking care of her every day, asked to be remembered to everybody. So if you want to send thoughts or prayers or things in Irv's direction, as he said in a note to me this morning, everything was going great, and life can change so quick in the blink of an eye. So it's certainly something to think about. So I'm sure he said he's been watching the video, so I'm sure we'll all say our thoughts with Irv when he sees this. So I hope folks saw some stuff that was new or different. And like I said, I get a kick out of things like the Frontier Town. I mean, all the stuff you would think about doing in a theme park, you would never think about hanging somebody. But I guess, as Cody said, they did it at Knott's Berry Farm. So back then, that was a acceptable thing to do.
Buffalo Bill's Wild West did it for 6 months. And Cody canned it. He said, if you ever seen a hanging, you would never forget it. So he felt it was awful, and he gave up on the idea.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Awful. Okay, so awful as it, well, let's see, it would conjure up to some people what a real hanging might have been like. But my grandfather was raised up in the San Jose area. Hart's department store was a big deal up there. And the Hart baby was kidnapped and killed, and they found the criminals, and a crowd got them out of jail and hanged them in St. James Park. And my grandfather went to watch that.
Oh, my
Ooh.
God.
Yeah, and he said, biggest mistake of his life, because he like he had seen in movies. He thought it'd be kind of like that. It wasn't going to be pleasant, but it wasn't going to be as gruesome as it truly was. So
yeah, the people used to show up for those things in large baskets.
There are
bring
pictures.
picnic baskets for Christ's
Exactly.
sake.
There are pictures of this. This is the St. James Park, downtown San Jose, which was at the time right across the park's still there, but the city hall and jail and all that was right across from the park, no longer in that location. But yeah, people are there with picnic baskets and the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
I think
I
a
don't
lot of
think they
times we think of
realized
that
what they were
in
gonna
terms
see.
of lynchings of Black people, but it was
People used to take picnic baskets out to Civil War battles. They would say that they're fighting at Gettysburg or Antietam or something. And these were bloody, god-awful, terrible events. I mean, they'd shoot the cannon and they'd fill it with nails and pieces of scrap metal, and it would go across and it just, eviscerate the people out there. And people would be sitting up on the thing, could you pass me another piece of pie? I mean, it's
Well, it was way off in the distance. There was nothing else to do. You couldn't watch TV. And yeah, it seems amazing that people would go out and watch that kind of thing.
yeah, I'd be afraid of it coming in my direction.
Yeah, I mean, that was it. They would go out there and sit and watch, and then when the bullets started heading in their direction, they left. So yeah, it would have been dangerous.
I'm that way with fireworks. In Long Beach, you can go down to the bluff and watch the official fireworks over the Queen Mary, but all these people down on the beach about 7,500 feet below you are shooting off their own fireworks, and I'm just waiting for one to come right up to the bluff and hit me, and in the face or something, and it's just kind of scary.
Oh, the illegal fireworks. So this
Oh,
past year
yeah,
was,
yeah.
this
Long
past year
Beach, Long Beach starts posting like months in advance.
yeah. Well, out here in the valley, every time you post a sign, somebody just laughs. But this
Yeah.
past year wasn't as bad as the illegal stuff as the prior years. But we had one a couple of years ago, probably about 4 years ago. Somebody set off a firework, and instead of going up, it went sideways right through somebody's window into an apartment, boom, and burned down the entire apartment building.
Oh my God.
Yeah, yeah, it was, I mean, it was a terrible fire, and they were barely able to get some of the people out in time because it burned so quick and intensely. And then there was a big battle about insurance, and it sat there for about 4 years as a ruin. And I was on patrol about 2 weeks ago and went by and realized, oh, they tore it all down. They're building another apartment building. But imagine sitting there watching TV, and all of a sudden the firework comes through your window and sets your place on fire.
That's part of the problem, with here in Long Beach, it's illegal, but Signal Hill, which is in the middle of Long Beach surrounds Signal Hill, they're legal. So, for me, I could almost walk to Signal Hill and buy a package of fireworks. What's going to stop me from shooting them off here?
Yeah.
Well, no matter how many places they make them illegal, they're still going to show up.
Oh yeah, I mean, what you call it? We would go out years ago and buy some fireworks at Santa Paula out near us, and take them back. We were getting the small little stuff and set it off on the concrete by the pool so the kids could have some fun. But I would never set off a skyrocket, particularly across the hill from street from us. There's all this dry brush, So no, I would never. And you get to the place, they'd have these things that are this big around, I mean, with names like, Town Killer or some stupid thing. I mean, it's just crazy.
We had a guy in our neighborhood who were used
They're
to
very
live,
popular here.
and he would start setting off firecrackers at 3 a.m. in the morning, a couple of weeks before the 4th. And on the 4th, I swear to God, he threw them right against our building. It sounded like it was in our bedroom. I don't know what people think. They must be crazy.
They don't think, that's the problem. I mean,
It also terrorizes animals.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have to get pills to make them sleepy before the fireworks start.
Yeah.
And even at that point, they're not happy.
No, and then the next day they're like, what the
They're
hell?
very popular here.
So,
Yeah, I'm sure.
And they
but it's
Yeah,
also,
when-
it's crazy. And one year they changed the law so that they were legal like later at night all year round, and people just went nuts. They changed that back pretty quickly, fortunately. But yeah, they're still legal here until like 1 o'clock on I think New Year's Day and 4th of July until 1, and then it's an earlier time the rest of the year, but it's rough. We hear them all the time.
yeah, it's really bad with vets with PTSD as well. So
When we were kids, my cousins and I, we would get, and they were illegal, this is up in San Jose area, the firecrackers. But what we like to do is to put them in model cars or model airplanes, and light them. And, so we'd go and do the like National Transportation Safety Board on, this airplane had a bomb in it, and this is the damage that the bomb caused.
I used to love to build model airplanes and boats, and we had, as we walked upstairs from our downstairs to where our bedrooms were upstairs, there was a long wooden shelf that went along the top of the stairs, and I would have an aircraft carrier, PT boat, or whatever. And my mother would basically say, you can't do any more models till you get rid of the old models. So my friend Bobby and I would take the models down to an area in town called Lost Lake, and we would pack them inside. We first started with a firecracker, but then we started progressing into an M80, which is a very powerful firecracker. And we would like cut off the deck of the ship and pack it with cotton waste, soak it with lighter fluid, put in an M80, and then put
Oh
it
my
out in the
goodness.
lake, and they would explode big time, right? And we should have gotten into the special effects business, but we would ride down there with a big cardboard box of this stuff and blow it up. We were there one day blowing these things up, and a patrol car came screeching up to a halt, and the guy was like, "What the hell are you doing?" And I said, "Oh God, I'm in so much trouble," right? So I said, "We're just watching." And he said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, when you came with your siren on, the guy that was doing all this left." He goes, "What's he look like?" I said, "Big guy, about 6 foot tall, really fat, ran that way. You can't miss him." Okay, off he went, and off we went.
Quick
I
thinking,
don't remember that.
quick
but I mean-
thinking, a Leave It to Beaver episode.
Oh God. I mean, we were like, we left everything behind, the boxes of lighter fluid and everything else. It was like, Bobby, we just got to get out of here. We got to go now. But yeah, we used to have, I mean, you could get packing with this again, if I put one M80 in a ship, then Bobby would have to put two. Oh, you gonna do, I'm gonna do three. I mean, we had huge explosions coming up, and I can't blame the neighbors for calling. But somewhere at the bottom of that lake, there's a little armada of plastic ships.
You're lucky you still have both hands.
Oh, God. Well, yeah.
Do you remember when we went to the fireworks show in Calabasas?
Yeah.
And one of the fireworks, this was actually a professionally run show. One of the fireworks went off, and I don't know what it did to the person's hand, but they stopped the show right away, and we all had to leave. And then the ambulance came, I think.
It went sideways and hit him in the chest. And
oh my God.
Yeah.
Did
They had
they
an
kill him?
airlift. Yeah, they airlifted him out of there. So
Oh my
we're
God.
there, and there's bang, bang, bang. It all stopped. You see the thing go that way. Oh, that's cool. Then everything stops, and we've had an accident. Everybody needs to leave as quickly as you can because we have to bring a helicopter in. So yeah, that was scary. I think that's the
I
last
wonder
time
what happened to
that
that
show.
guy.
What's that?
I wonder what happened to him. You know, if he's okay or.
It was in the paper the next day. He was okay, but he took a hell of a bang, and I guess it broke a number of ribs because it's supposed to go up 100 feet in the air, and it went 8 feet it hit across the stage into him.
Yeah.
It hit him with a lot of force, but yeah, it wasn't. I remember the story the next day. He was okay. I mean, hurt, but he lived.
That
So
didn't kill him, yeah.
yeah, but scary. So yeah, every year there's a story in the paper about somebody blows himself up, or on Long Island there's a road that it was supposed to go from Long Island to Connecticut, and they built it, but they never built a bridge. So it goes north south on the island, and these kids were out one day and they were having fun throwing firecrackers at other cars on the highway. So you imagine you're driving along and some idiot throws a firecracker, boom. Well, they threw the firecracker out the front window. The wind blew it in the back window where all their stuff was, and it hit it and blew up the car in the Seaford Oyster Bay Expressway. That was about 1969, 70, somewhere like that. And that became a big wake-up call for people in Long Island that, hey, these toys can be really, really dangerous. So, yeah. Well, again, the next 2 weeks, Carol and I are going to be roaming around, and we will be enjoying the North Shore of Long Island for a couple of days, and the Finger Lakes District of New York, the Catskill Mountains, the Adirondack Mountains, and then hoping to spend some time in Albany at a couple of museums for Carolyn, and then back home. So we'll see you in 3 weeks. Time goes.
Have a great trip. Have a
Yeah.
wonderful time.
Enjoy your trip.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. I've actually been looking at the weather forecast, and like it's going to be 105 here on Tuesday, and where we're going to be on Thursday is going to be, I think, 72, and where we're going to be up the rest of the week, the high for one day was 69. So it's going to be
Lucky you. Lucky
yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Have a wonderful time.
We're looking forward to it. So thanks, and hope two more things in chat here. 1 second. Oh, Carolyn had a run, and yeah, great. I hope everybody has a great holiday weekend, and it's not too bad weather-wise, and we'll see you in 3 weeks.
Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
Bill.
Thanks, Bill.